Bobby, can you hear me? There's some weird noise. There's some weird noise in your end, my friend. Do you hear? Can you hear me, Bobby? You
Hello?
fuck! It sounds like you're killing someone. What's that? Make it stop. What?
Uh,
Oops. Well, looks like he went away for a while. Okay, let's talk about the big news we're supposed to have while waiting for my good friend Bobby. And he and I have been working in a game. It was it's a lucha libre. It's a lucha libre game, and well, I just saw and read this. Oops, what did I do? Okay, no, come on, come on, come on. Okay, now I just saw and read this comic book. Okay, it's the Masked Republic Luchaverse, Rey Mysterio, issue one. It's a one shot for what I read. Really good comic. Okay, really, really good comic. But we have a huge problem because this is almost, almost to a T what we were doing in our game. And since we don't want them, we're not. We're not trying to rip off anybody. We're trying to do our own stuff. So we decide to try to power through and see if we can release the game in time for Christmas, for the Christmas season. Give me a second. I have a Bobby in the Twitter. So we're trying to get our game out in time for the Christmas season, so we can try and sell it to well, to whoever wants to buy a new kind of game. Uh, Bobby, I see you, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Bobby, I can't hear you, man. Anyhow, Bobby is fucking genius. Okay, he's been making huge contributions in regards to the lore, to the oh fuck, sorry, to the um, mechanics of the game. He's been instrumental in that regard because he has one wicked, twisted, sick, great imagination. I couldn't be doing it without him. So,
Hello?
Bobby, Bobby, hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I hear you. Do you hear me? Bobby, can't you hear me? So he's been giving lots and lots of ideas and about how to differentiate one luchador from another.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I hear you.
I can hear bits and pieces of you.
I hear you just fine. What's that? Who's screaming there? Who are you killing, man? So Bobby has been given.
Can you at least see me?
I see you. Yes. Look, let me stop this. Okay. Talk, Bobby. Oh shit. He dropped out again. Okay. He's been giving me lots and lots of great stuff in regards to the way you can build your character, your luchador, and make it unique and have it do amazing stuff, because we wanted it to be a fun game. So we had been working, and I had been working in a system and an engine, just Lalo, entra a mi canal a ver si me escuchas bien. So I was working in a game engine. Something easy to learn, cheap. I wanted to be for my country, for kids here in Mexico, to be able to pick up the hobby without spending too much money. So I decided to make it a D6 game, D6 based game, but I didn't want it to be pool dice. So I had to do some research and decide, and I choose to do it in 3D6 because there's other engines around that are good in some stuff and not so good in other stuff. So, for instance, there's of course GURPS. That's a classic. It's a roll under 3D6 based engine, and I haven't. I was trying to do something. I was trying to do something. I was trying to do something like that, but not exactly like that because I didn't like everything about GURPS. Just like I don't like everything about Hero or about Action or even Open Core or Microlight 74 3D6. So I went around and started working and tinkering and changing things here and there in order to make a system that's simple, rules light, easy to learn, trying to make it with an OSR feeling. And I was playing with names one on another. Then I decided for nuclear. That's the reason you are going to the reason for this nuclear power tabletop Thursdays. Nuclear because nuclear is the engine's game name. It means new, universal, cinematic, light engine for amazing role playing. Yes, I know. I wasn't really sure about the game. I was almost tempted. When I came, I decided for I. This is going to be the generic game. Okay, roll and quest. When I decided for this logo, I was almost. I was about to change the name of the engine from nuclear to Kurtz because tentacles, you know. But then I decided not to do that. So the big revelation is that we're working in a game. The game is called where was I? Okay, just this is the generic version. Okay, roll and quest. It's going to be for everybody to play. There's going to be several versions. It's for instance, a western, noir, pulp, maybe science fiction, other science fiction, adventure, military or spies. So it works with several kinds because this makes it known that it's the same game, and different fonts give you the the kind of game it's going to be, because I don't want to make a 700 pages book. I rather have several smaller, complete books. The science fiction book is going to have all the rules needed to be used by itself. You won't need to have the basic and then the science fiction too. No, just one of those. Whichever you want, so they will be around the same page number, each and every one. I'm working also in my own lore, my own monster encyclopedia. Of course, you're going to see some monsters that are in that famous RPG game, but those are going to be the monsters that are taken from real mythologies. I'm trying not to take any of the monsters they have or the creatures they have and keep it just like that. No, I'm trying to make my own. So there's going to be elves, yes, but those are going to be my elves, not their elves. The same with the gnomes and the dwarfs and the halflings, everything, every single creature, every single monster, the magic, every system. It's unique, it's new. I'm trying to make it so that while familiar for anybody that has ever played some RPG, you will be able to notice that it's not the same, not exactly the same. Of course, the name is going to be an elf is an elf, a dwarf is a dwarf, but not exactly the same as in other games, because then what's the use? It's just a new dice mechanics. That's nothing to write home about. The game Bobby and I are working on, it's called Máscaras and Monstruos. Máscaras versus Monstruos. It's about luchadores, lucha libre, Mexican wrestlers fighting monsters. It was inspired on the movies that El Santo and Blue Demon used to do when I was a kid. So, well, that. So you will have vampires and werewolves and mummies and the monster from the Black Lagoon and aliens and witches, spies, the evil genius, all at your fingertips. For you to build your own playground, your own, to make it your own. You know, it's not going to be here's El Santo and play with him. No, not only because I don't have the money to pay for the use of the name, but because I think it's more fun if you can create your own characters. Of course, if you want to create El Santo, you can. That's your choice. But it's not going to be there. There are going to be, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 pre-made characters, but those are going to be unique characters, not built around any existing or real luchador, dead or alive. So those are going to be unique, original characters. The same with the pre-built villains and monsters for the first adventure. As in any, well, not any, because there are solo, but as in most RPGs, it's oh, sorry. You will be able to play with 2 people, but it's best if you play, I don't know, 3, 5 people, because it's luchadores, and in lucha you have uh, teams, equipos de luchadores, teams, wrestler teams, and it's 2 people, 3 people, and 4 people teams. So it would be best if you had the referee and 2 wrestlers, or 3 wrestlers, or 4 wrestlers, or more. But at least I think you will need 2 wrestlers at the very least. Of course, you can play 2 wrestlers, so it could be just you and the referee. But I think it's these games are funny, are more fun the more people playing. There's going to be female wrestlers, of course, and there's also something. I'm not sure I ever saw it in American wrestling, but here in Mexico, there's the what were they called? Effeminate luchadores. Okay. They usually wear heels, funny enough. And it was really fun to go watch them fight each other. So you're going to be able to build the kind of luchador you want. You're going to be able to have many different monsters, and there's going to be wrestling matches against NPCs, or you can have, for instance, if there are 4 players and the referee, then you can have 2 teams and you can wrestle one another. And Bobby is working in making a TCG of the same game. So you will have if everything goes according to plan, you're going to have the RPG and also the TCG. And you will be able to buy both. Hopefully this Christmas. Hopefully we can make it so you can buy at least one of those, because the TCG is, it's not that simple, I think, but we're working on it. We already have the rules, so it's just about making the cards, and it's just about the cards. Yes. Yes, the hardest part is what we still have to do. So you should be keep an eye out for Máscaras and versus Monstruos. the RPG, and then after that, the next one will be the traditional, the fantasy game will be next. That's roll and quest. Yeah, with quartz powered. No. Nuclear powered. 3d6 roll over, and just 3d6. There's no there's no time when you have to roll 4d6 or 5d6 or 7d6. I have been working in the math like crazy to make it possible to do that. There's no hit dice, only hit points. Every monster is going to have the hit points. I'm trying to get rid of Thaco, but of course you can't really get rid of it because it's otherwise everything is cookie cutter. But I'm making it way simpler and way easier to do. Most math is going to be made at it's only addition, subtraction, multiplication, and some easy divisions. Okay, but those multiplication and division are made before you start playing. While you are playing, you are only using addition and sometimes subtraction. You have classes, you have species or races, whatever you want to name them. You're going to have your attributes. I'm cutting up on the abilities because I'm going to be using backgrounds instead in order to help you build your characters. You're going to give them backgrounds. So, for instance, you're building, I don't know, a fighter. Okay, so your fighter was a noble, and then he became a pirate, for instance. So he's good at anything a noble would be good, and he's good at anything a pirate would be good, just like that. So if you're making if your character needs diplomacy, well, a noble would know something about diplomacy, so he's good at it. Or if your character needs to sail a boat, a ship, well, he was a pirate, so he must know something about that too, you know. So it's not this ability and this ability and this other ability. Of course, there's going to be some abilities you can buy, but it's not everything about that. So you can build a character way faster. And without having to write that much, and given the GM the ability to make the call, you know. It's more about ruling than the rules, because it's I'm trying to make it OSR, and there's going to be optional rule in order, if you want to, instead of rolling the attributes, if you want to use points, you can, but it's optional. I would rather you play it like an OSR and roll your attributes. But again, it's your game. When once you have it in your hands, it's going to be your game. So you can make anything you wish with it. And well, right after we released the Mascaras versus monsters. We're going to try to release more games afterwards, or some expansions. I'm trying to make it, or everything. I want to make everything to be living document. So you buy once, and there's no need for you to buy another book, really, unless it's a totally new, different book. But if there's some expansion to the rules or to the lore, or well, you don't have to buy it because it's a living document. Once you buy it, you have the right for the expansions. You will be getting the expansions, unless there's a huge change. And I mean huge. Imagine, I don't know, you are playing on first edition, and suddenly the next edition is the equivalent of fifth edition, something like that. And the difference is huge because we changed the dice, already, something like that. Well, maybe then you will need to buy the book again, but otherwise, no. The book is, it's living document. So, and I'm going to be releasing some games. I'm trying to make it so that I can print some games here in Mexico, and in cheap paper. I don't want anything fancy. In cheap paper, and to give them away at the schools in the poor areas of the country, so the kids can play with it. So well, I don't know. I will be making a Patreon or something to that, or just selling my T-shirts, that I'm going to be opening a T-shirt store soon, and selling the books. Maybe with that we can pay for the other stuff. I don't know, but however, one way or the other is going to happen, because that's something I want to do really, really much. And it's going to be published in English and in Spanish. Okay, in two languages, not in the same book, two books. Okay, so if you want to print some copies in your country to give away to poor kids, it's perfectly fine. There's not going to be any problem with that. It's going to be either OGL, or if not open game license, it's going to be CC BY, just like that. CC BY. Okay, you can use it, and you have to give credit. That's all. You can sell it, you can change it, whatever. One or the other. I'm not sure yet which one I'm going to be using. And that's one of the reasons I'm writing everything from scratch, because otherwise I can't use what it's in other people's work and change the license. It's going to, I would need to respect the license they are using. So I'm just taking what I can take without any problem. That's mostly the most basic dice mechanics, and everything else it's from scratch, and even some of the dice mechanics are being tweaked here and there in order to make the game faster, in order to make make it cinematic. If you want to make it more realistic, you can. There's going to be the how you can do that, by rolling the dice and by points also. There's going to be a way for you to make it, if you don't like, for instance, you don't like gonzo fantasy, there's not going to be any problem because you can very easily make it so that the characters are not are going to die more easy, if that's the kind of game you want to play. Because I think it should always be about what the players want to do with the game. It's your game, not mine. Once you buy it, it's your game, not mine. So sadly, Bobby had some problems. He wasn't able to jump in. He's telling me that he wanted to do he's doing some of the art too. The art is going to be black and white. We're using the terms técnico and rudo. Yes, Bobby, we are using técnico and rudo. Or would you rather have it in English? I don't know. Would be better. Have it in English? Okay, I'm talking with him in DMs in the Twitter, so excuse me. So yes, this is happening. This is happening, people. Maybe we'll launch an Indiegogo. I don't know. I need to talk with him still because we weren't planning on releasing it so soon. It's just because of this that now we have to release it sooner than we wanted to. So let's see how well we can do our little game to work. And well, I'm hoping you'll have fun and that you'll be able to roll and quest with our little engine that could. So, well, that's it. That's it. All I wanted to say. I think there's only one people watching right now. So, my dude, I'm cutting this sooner because without without Bobby here, it's not the same. So you guys have fun, play nice with each other, be excellent to each other, and get out of my graph paper, you punks. No, that's not true. You're welcome in my graph paper anytime, anywhere. So, well, see you soon. And remember, don't go gently into the night. Rage against the machine. Bye.